You are standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at a goal you have wanted your entire life, but your hands are trembling and you step backward into safety. Failure is comfortable. Failure is familiar. Failure asks nothing of you except a quiet sigh and another day spent in the dark. What actually terrifies your brain is the blinding light of your own potential. In 1971, psychologist Abraham Maslow formally identified this strange psychological trap, naming it the Jonah Complex. He observed that when human beings get remarkably close to achieving extraordinary greatness, an invisible alarm goes off inside their nervous system. We run away from our own capability, just like the biblical prophet Jonah ran away from his divine destiny. Why does your brain actively sabotage you the moment you start winning? Because success completely destroys your existing identity. When you fail, your personal world stays predictable. You know who you are, you know what people expect from you, and you know how to survive inside your current boundaries. Success breaks that safe shell completely. Success demands a brand new version of you, a person who carries massive responsibility, faces intense public scrutiny, and can no longer use comfortable excuses for staying small. Your subconscious mind registers that massive identity shift as a direct threat to your physical and psychological survival. Have you ever noticed how you suddenly feel exhausted, distracted, or strangely sick right before a massive life breakthrough? That is not simple laziness. That is an active biological defense mechanism triggered directly by your threat processing amygdala. If you succeed, your social circle automatically shifts. Primitive human evolution wired us over millions of years to stay safely near the middle of the tribe. If you stay in the middle, you remain safe. If you rise too far above the tribe, you risk envy, isolation, and eventual social rejection. Your brain deeply fears that standing out will leave you completely abandoned and alone in the cold wild. So, you procrastinate. You deliberately sabotage your clean daily habits. You pick pointless arguments, misplace important files, or miss vital deadlines on purpose. You give yourself a psychological relief valve so you can slide safely back down into comfortable, predictable mediocrity. Maslow discovered that human beings secretly envy greatness in others, while simultaneously fearing that exact same potential inside themselves. We protect our fragile self-image by staying small, convincing ourselves that we were simply not talented or lucky enough to win. How many brilliant ideas have died quietly inside your own head because you were terrified of who you would have to become if they actually worked? When you step into a higher level of achievement, the expectations surrounding you multiply exponentially. People begin to expect consistent excellence from you every single day, removing the luxury of resting on past accomplishments. Failure gives you a sympathetic story to tell, while success strips away your shield and leaves you exposed to higher standards. Psychologists studying high-performing athletes noticed a distinct pattern called the impulse to retreat. Right when a competitor achieves a world record, their brain registers the sudden increase in pressure and actively seeks ways to drop back down to lower expectations. Your mind prefers a familiar hell over an unfamiliar paradise every single time. In controlled psychological experiments, individuals given tasks designed for easy victory often manufactured deliberate errors right at the final step. When questioned afterward, they could not explain why they hesitated when the finish line was clearly in sight. They were not protecting themselves from the disappointment of losing. They were protecting themselves from the heavy weight of winning. Every step toward your highest potential forces you to abandon the comfortable persona you built to survive your past. You have to bury the version of yourself that relies on pity, excuses, and low expectations from those around you. That symbolic death of your past self feels like real, physical danger to an evolutionary brain wired for self-preservation. Every time you pull back at the last moment, you reinforce the neural pathways that keep you locked inside your current limits. You create a self-fulfilling loop where safe disappointment feels like a victory over the unknown. Is it possible that your greatest fear has never been falling short, but realizing you have no excuse left to stay where you are? In the quiet hours of the night, when you look at your true potential, the room grows heavy with the weight of unfulfilled promise. You realize that staying small is not humility. It is a desperate attempt to stay safe from your own power. Failure only wounds your fragile ego for a brief moment in time. Success completely rewires your entire existence forever. You are not actually afraid of failing at your dreams. You are deeply terrified of discovering just how powerful you really are.